Hey everybody, what is up? I just got done eating lunch and sorry I'm a little late. I wanted to come on this morning, but I had a bunch of work I had to do this morning and I did not realize how much it actually was. So it took me a little bit, but I'm here now. So I'm going to start trying to go live once a day here on Facebook to talk about different recovery topics, addiction recovery topics with you guys. Okay. And the other day we were live and I was asking everyone what they want to talk about. And the topic came up of triggers and cravings and how to cope. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We'll wait to get started. We'll wait for a couple people to show up and get in here. If you guys don't mind, and you can, please go ahead and share the live. If you're in any Facebook groups, share the live out. Let's get everybody over here. So that way we can start together and we don't leave anybody out. I'm going to share the live as well into the groups that I'm a part of and all that good stuff. So let's get that popping. Here we go. There we go. For those of you guys that don't know, my name is Nicole or Nikki. You can call me Nikki. I have been in recovery since July 13th of 2015. My DOC was meth, oxy, cocaine, and Xanax. What really catapulted me into changing my life and getting sober was a life-changing, horrible experience with CPS. My best friend at the time, who was also someone that I used substances with, called CPS on me, and they came and took my son. And so when that happened, it really made me realize that not only was I hurting my own life with drugs and alcohol, but I was also affecting my young child's life. And that was not something I wanted to do. I love my son. He is my everything. He's the reason why I'm alive today. Hey, Laura, what's up, girl? And so that was like a big turning point for me. So that's a little bit about me for those of you guys that are new to my page or just tuning in or have never seen me a day in your life. That's just a little bit about my story. But I have been in recovery for 9 years, and through these 9 years, I feel like I have developed some pretty solid coping skills, and I want to share those with you guys so that way I can help you if you're struggling. So yeah, let's get into it. So, first and foremost, let's talk about what are triggers and cravings, okay? So, what I believe triggers and cravings are, I believe that triggers are just thoughts that manifest themselves in our mind, and they have no power over our life. The only way that our triggers have power, right, is if we put action behind them. So, for example, let's say it's a Monday morning and I'm just getting up and I'm getting ready and I'm so freaking tired. And the thought crosses my mind, man, I wouldn't be so tired if I had a little doot-doot of some crystal. You know, if I just had a little doot-doot. And that fleeting thought will come into my mind, right? And if I sit there and I think about that thought and I focus on that thought and I give my power to that thought, what happens? The thought gets bigger, and then I start devising a plan of action of how I'm going to get my little doot-doot of crystal, right? And my mind starts working overtime. Oh, could I get away with it? Would anybody know? Who would I get the doot-doot of crystal from? You know, and I go over it and over it and in my mind until I have devised a whole plan of action. And then what has to happen is I have to put my money where my mouth is, and I have to put action behind the thought that I just festered up in my mind, right? So what I do, because I have thoughts sometimes, you guys, I'm only human. We're all only human. None of us are perfect, right? And we did substances for a really long time. Most of us were addicted for multiple years. And so changing that thought process doesn't just happen overnight. You don't just wake up one day and you're magically cured from your substance use disorder, you know? It takes time, it takes effort, it takes change, it takes therapy, it takes talking about it, it takes hard work, dedication, you know? So it's not going to happen overnight. And I would even say this. Sometimes for some of us, those thoughts don't ever stop coming into our minds every now and then. And that doesn't make us less than. Okay, I have seen some people who have had experiences where their higher power just took the taste right out of their mouth, right? It totally healed them of that, and they don't even have fleeting thoughts about it. But that's not my experience, okay? I do have a higher power. I do believe in God. I do pray and meditate. I do journal. But I still have those little creeping thoughts every now and then, okay? And so a lot of the times I notice that when I do have thoughts to use, it's when something's going on in my life that's stressful. It's when I'm sick or not feeling like myself. It's when a big life change has happened. So, for example, recently, about 2 months ago, the job that I've worked for the last 5 years shut down. And that was how I made my living. That's how I supported my family. So when that life change happened, it was really freaking scary. Hey, Emily, what's up, girl? I appreciate you. Hey, Angela, I see you, girl. When that life change happened, it was really freaking scary. And it threw me into a tailspin. I started having really bad anxiety attacks, panic attacks. And I was in a sense of impending doom is what I felt, right? And that's when those thoughts of using amped up. They came into my mind more frequently. Now, what did I do to combat those thoughts? Okay? And that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. So one of the main things that has helped me in my journey in recovery to stay sober for the last 9 years, okay, is talking about what I'm going through. I have completely removed the shame from my life. I am not ashamed of the mistakes I made in the past, because the mistakes that I made in the past have made me into the person I am today, and they have given me the strength to help others not make the same kind of mistakes. So when I have these debilitating thoughts about using, when I let my mind wander and go into devising a plan, that's when I know 911, 911, I'm reaching deadly territory. That's when I reach out to my support system. Every single one of you guys that are in recovery, you need to have a support system. You need to have friends in recovery, loved ones, anyone that you trust that you can talk to. A lot of you guys are members in our recovery group, our private recovery group. If you are struggling, a great thing to do while you're building your support system, if you don't have friends that you can call up, or a sober accountability partner or a sponsor, is to be a part of a recovery group that you feel safe in, that you can type out, hey guys, I'm feeling triggered today. This is what's going on. What should I do? Do you have any feedback for me? And not being afraid to post that. You can post anonymously in the Facebook group. You don't even have to let people know who you are. Okay? And that can help you so much. Okay? So that's my main first tip for coping with triggers and thoughts of using. Triggers and cravings. Now, cravings? What is a craving, right? Did you know that you can't crave something unless you have taken it into your body? So, for example, do you know when you hear a woman say, I'm craving pickles. A pregnant woman says she's craving pickles. It's really just a trigger, a thought in her mind about the pickles. She's thinking about them. Okay? The way cravings work are when you eat that pickle and you get that taste in your mouth and then you want another one. That's how cravings work. So as long as you're not putting substances into your body, you're not going to have cravings. You're just dealing with the trigger, the thought. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right? 9 times out of 10, it's just a thought. You can change it immediately. Yes, Laura's group is also a safe space for women specifically that can post about when they're struggling. You can put the @ in the comment section, Laura, okay? Because my group is co-ed and her group is for women. So those are 2 great groups that you guys can get support and resources from. And so for the longest time, I always thought that I was craving. I'm craving. You know, I also believe that speaking that into existence gives it power as well. So I'm not even going to say that I'm craving. I'm not craving. It was just a fleeting thought, and I'm changing that thought. So the first way that I cope is by talking about it. I reach out to my support system. I talk to you guys about it. I'll go live. I'll make a post, and that really helps me hold myself accountable. Okay? All right. The second way that I help myself when I'm having thoughts that come into my mind about using substances, all right, my little puppy dog right there. The second thing that I do that really, really helps me with triggers is identifying my triggers. So when I first got sober, I sat down and I made a list of all the things that really made me triggered, that made me think about using. And I'll give you a little short list for example, okay? Number 1, syringes. Syringes used to trigger me so badly. Number 2, pill bottles. Just here. Girl, I know what you got in that bottle, Norco 10, 325. You know what I mean? Like I can hear the shake and know the shape and the kind of pill in the bottle. Okay? Pill bottles. Spoons. Okay? Bottle caps. Okay? Those are a list of triggers. So, I wrote down a list of all the things that I had triggers with, right? And I removed those things from my life. So, for the longest time, I didn't have syringes. And I'm going to tell you guys how I overcame that trigger. I removed those things from my life so I didn't have to deal with those things. But there's a couple of things that I had to face every single day. I was on medication for my mental health, so I had to see pill bottles. So, exposure therapy. Seeing those things every single day, knowing those things have no power over me, constantly telling myself, these inanimate objects have no power over me. The only way drugs and alcohol can get into my body is if I put them in my body. I have to allow these substances to have access. They can't jump inside of me on their own. And so once I realized that I truly have the power within me, it was such a liberating experience, and it set me free from all of my triggers. So back in 2019, my little puppy dog, God rest her soul, she passed away. Her name was Jetta. She was my husband's dog. She was diagnosed with diabetes, and we had to start giving her insulin shots. Me and my husband were IV addicts. We were very addicted to the syringe, okay? We were very addicted to the process of injecting. Sometimes I was so addicted to it that I would inject water just to have the experience, okay? And I'm sorry, we're talking about triggers, so this is going to be triggering, trigger warning if you're struggling or anything. But I would do those kind of things just to have the experience because I was addicted to the process as well. And so when my dog was diagnosed with diabetes, I had to face my trigger. I had to give my dog injections for her to live and be okay. And so that's how I got through and overcame my trigger to syringes. Then in 2023, December of 2023, you guys, I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I started on medication for my weight and for my diabetes, and I had to give myself injections once a week. And so me going through that with my dog, it was like my higher power knew that I was going to go through something in the future, and I was going to need to utilize syringes as a tool for my medication. And so I overcame that, and now I have no issues. I don't feel uncomfortable. I don't get sick to my stomach. I don't shake, nothing. I just do it, and because I know it's a part of my life. It's something I have to do to help me, And so putting myself out there, exposing myself to those triggers and facing those triggers has also 100% helped me to overcome those things. I have no problems with them. And it's like I'm free now. I have the freedom now. Hey, Amy, you can't just, I need to lose 25 pounds fast. Any help? No. It takes time and takes effort. Even if you get on medication to help you with it, it's still going to take time and take effort. You got to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. Go to your doctor, see if you have diabetes, or if you have anything that's keeping you from losing weight. Get your hormones checked, and then get yourself in a calorie deficit and start walking 10,000 steps a day. Oh, my back is killing me. So that is another thing that has helped me, facing the things that I was triggered by, right? Now, another thing that has helped me in coping with triggers and cravings is this. Like I was telling you guys before, I identify that a lot of the times the reason why I'm thinking something outside of the box, the reason why I'm thinking about wanting to use, is because I have some kind of stressor or chaos going on in my life. Because my life is so stable today, I don't have chaos in my life because I'm sober, that when I do have something that arises, something that's different, something that's out of pocket, something like losing my job, my husband backing into a lady and getting a dent in his car right after we paid off his car. Woo! That stresses me out, right? Brent, talk to your doctor about, what is it called? What is the medication that I'm taking that helps me with nausea? I don't get nauseous anymore, but I can't remember. It is a nausea medicine that you can have your doctor prescribe you, and it helps a lot. Yeah, getting a ticket this morning, that can be a stressor that makes you think ugh, and then we automatically go to the worst scenario. At least I do. If I got a ticket, Laura, I would be like, oh my God, I got a ticket. I'm not going to be able to pay it. And then they're going to lock me up in jail forever. The world is coming to a motherfucking end. Finegrin. Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Love you, Tim. The world is coming to an end. What am I going to do? Yeah. Brent, get the nausea medication. Take it about an hour before you take your dose of semaglutide or Ozempic, Zofran, Finegrin, all of those, Mandy. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Those are all great suggestions. I take Zofran, and I don't take it every time I take the injection, but I take it probably every other time because I don't get really nausea anymore. For those of you guys that don't know, I was diagnosed with Ozempic back in December, or diabetes back in December, and I got put on Ozempic to treat it. Once I got on the Ozempic, my weight just started flying off. It took about 30 days, you guys, for me to start seeing results, and I lost 50 pounds really quickly. Now I'm kind of at a plateau, and I'm trying to work through it by upping my exercise, refining my diet. One of the things that is really going to help you if you're on a weight loss journey and you're utilizing Ozempic or semaglutide or Mounjaro or Wegovy or whatever it is for you to make sure that you're eating in a calorie deficit, whatever that is for your body weight and height, and make sure that you're eating a diet high in protein and low in carbohydrates. That make sure that you're drinking plenty of water and you're at least getting 10,000 steps a day. I promise you, if you do those things, you will see results. Okay, it changed my life. It has totally made me stop binge eating. I used to not be able to go one night without binging in the refrigerator in the middle of the night. And I haven't binged in 9 months since I started on semaglutide. So, and you can take all the things that I'm saying about triggers and cravings and apply it to food addiction as well, you guys. A lot of the times when I was getting into my recovery from food addiction, I would start to I would start to see that I was making progress on my weight loss journey, that I was eating right? And then I would have a setback where I would binge. And instead of getting right back up from the setback or relapse, if it has to do with addiction, I would beat myself up and I would stay in that relapse. I would stay in that setback and I would continue binging and just make it worse and worse and worse and worse. If you are struggling with food addiction or any kind of addiction and you have relapsed back into your old behaviors, the best thing that you can do is to get back on track. Don't stay in the relapse. Don't continue the binge eating. Don't continue injecting the drugs. Don't continue smoking the crack-a-lacka. Don't continue snorting the dope, right? Get back on track. And then you need to realize that all of your hard work is not thrown away. And this has saved my life when it has come to my food addiction. When I have a day when I eat unhealthy, where I go over my calories, I do not continue doing that the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day. I acknowledge that I made the mistake and then I immediately get back on track. Therefore, not throwing off my progress. Because it takes time for you to pack on pounds. Believe it or not, it takes time, right? And so if you have one day where you have a slip and you eat over your calories, or you have a slip and you smoke crack, or you have a slip and you toot a line, or you have a slip and you drink alcohol, it does not throw away all the years of progress that you have made. You just have to get right back on track. Don't let your mind fight against you, because that's what it is. It's our minds are our own worst enemies. So we smack it down. Okay, I fucked up. I acknowledge it. Why did I fuck up? What triggered me to make that decision? What is going on in my life? Look deeper, okay? Look within your life. Look within yourself. What is going around? Who are the type of people you're surrounding yourself with? What kind of content are you engaging in and taking in? Okay? Are you engaging in and watching content that is inspiring you, or is it dragging you down? Are you hanging out with people that are pushing you to be your best version of yourself and challenging you? Or are you hanging out with people who are stagnant and just happy where they're at and not encouraging you to be better? Like, really look around at all that and then learn from that lapse. And then correct the mistake and keep it moving. But no, all your time and progress is not gone. When you're running a marathon and you trip and fall, or you step in a pile of dog shit on your 5-mile marathon, what do? You grab your foot, you wipe it off in the grass, and you keep on running forward. If you fall down, you get back up, you dust yourself off, and you keep moving forward. You don't run back to the beginning of the fucking marathon and start over. What kind of sense does that make? It makes no sense. And it's extremely discouraging. So pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep it fucking moving. Tell you, a lot of your posts have helped me tremendously, but I'm struggling with the thoughts and feelings today. Really bad, honestly, to the point I'm still laying in bed just feeling blah. Also, I'm a year and a month clean from fentanyl after using for 5 years. So happy for your recovery and how well you're thriving through it. But thank you for just letting me sit here and listen. Hey, Alyssa, anytime. And listen, if you need to rot in bed today and just have a self-care rot day where you watch your favorite shows and you eat junk food and you just chill out, that's okay. That's okay. When I'm feeling like that, a lot of times, like, just laying in bed makes me feel worse. So I'll get up and I'll put myself into action, doing something to help somebody else. Okay, so like right now, we're sitting here chit-chatting, right? I woke up this morning, I was so tired, okay? Yeah, Tim, same. I was so tired this morning when I woke up, and I was just like feeling really unmotivated. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to come home and I just wanted to lay in bed and sleep, right? And I didn't, though. I pushed myself. I called a couple of my bosses. I got some extra work done for them. I knew I was going to come on here and do this live stream with you guys to talk about coping with triggers and cravings and thoughts of using. And so getting outside of myself and being there to help somebody else, it helps me so much. So that might help you. So I don't know if you have kids or if you have loved ones that live with you, but doing something special for them, ordering pizza for your family and renting a movie that y'all can spend time together, or just anything that where you're serving somebody else, it could really help you a lot. I know it helps me too. Hey, Angela. Hey, girl, just so you know, I texted my friend, and I'm just waiting to hear back from her because she was at the hospital all day yesterday because her grandmother is really, really sick. So I just want to let you know I'll work it on it. Hey, Charlotte. My nose just got plugged up there, but I don't want you to think I forgot Angela at all. And Tim says that he stopped watching a lot of YouTubers because they were bringing him down. And yeah, the same thing was happening to me. I had to change the content that I was taking in because I was taking in a lot of content where women were constantly buying new bags, new outfits. I was seeing a lot of content with girls that were getting surgeries and injections and Botox and lip filler. And it was making me feel like I wasn't good enough. And it was making me feel like, well, I need to do something to have a quick fix. I need to get high, do some meth so I can lose more weight faster. And so I had to totally re-establish the content that I was taking in, because whether I like to admit it or not, I fall deep into the pit of comparing myself to others, and it's not healthy for me. So that's why the kind of content that I want to produce for people is content that is providing value to their life and helping them be better. I don't want my content to be content that affects people in a negative way. Even if people are doing it unknowingly, it happens, And so I want my content to be content that's actually helping people better their lives. I don't want women to see my content and think that they're not good enough or they need to do things like I do to feel better about themselves. I'm very intentional, you guys, with the way I present myself online. A lot of you guys might think I'm just a hot mess express, but I'm just me. And that's very important to me, to come on here in my pajamas, just relaxing and chilling, no makeup on, and being a regular person. Because at the end of the day, none of us are fucking superhero special. Like, we're all just regular people that bleed red. And so that's really important to me to convey that in my own content to others. And I hope my content inspires you guys to make change in your life. I hope it helps you to not make the same mistakes that I did. I hope it helps provide education and value to your life about addiction and substances, because that's my purpose. Hey, thanks, Charlotte. I really appreciate that. Yeah, just send me a DM and I have to go through my messages and I'll find you in there, okay? So, yeah. But, okay, I need to get myself honed back into overcoming and coping with triggers and cravings, okay? So, another thing. So, I want to share with you guys, for a long time, I was very stagnant, and I was at home and laying in bed, or just not exercising, not taking care of myself, not drinking plenty of water. I was constantly binge eating. And because I wasn't taking care of myself, I was triggered. My overweightness triggered me to want to use crystal meth, because I thought, if I can use that, it'll come off, the weight will come off. And so inadvertently, through me eating unhealthy and trying to use food to cope with the way I felt on the inside, it ended up working against me, right? And so since I have been able to identify that problem in my life and start working on that, that is another way I have learned how to cope with my triggers and cravings, is by diet and exercise and drinking plenty of water and taking care of myself. Okay? I cannot stress to you guys enough how important it is for you to adopt healthy living skills. Okay? It might seem like, Nicole, everybody knows they need to eat healthy and drink water. Yeah, I thought that too, but not everybody knows that. A lot of us come from the generation where the biggest triangle on the food chart was the carbohydrate triangle. Okay? Do y'all remember that? The food chart thingy, the diamond thingy, and how it would have carbohydrates were the biggest part. So that's how we were taught to eat when we were younger. Okay? So not everybody does know that. Not everybody realizes that they're eating unhealthy. I thought that I was eating healthy because I made the food at home. I was making fried pork chops, biscuits and gravy. Okay? Corn on the cob with lots of butter and salt drenching it, honey. Green beans with bacon and butter and salt drowning them green beans. Yeah, that's not healthy, honey. But I thought because I'm not going out to eat that it was healthy. So having healthy diet and exercise is so important as a person in recovery, because a lot of us, we tend to overdo it in certain areas of our life. And so we will overdo it and we will become food addicts. We will overeat and develop problems like I have diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. And like I said, I'm working on it now. And I'm a work in progress. I used to be a super fat. Now I'm just a fat. Okay? I used to be super fat. Now I'm just a fat. So, I'm trying to think if there's any other ways that I cope with triggers and thought. Oh, yes, there is. Playing the tape all the way through. What do I mean by that? Okay, let's say the thought comes into my mind to use some meth. Okay? Instead of just sitting at the part where I use the meth and I get the good feeling, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to play that tape all the way to the end. What happens after I get the good feeling? I stay up for 3 days without no sleep and go into psychosis, start picking my face and my legs until they're bleeding, and then I'm accusing my husband of cheating on me with another woman and getting into a fight or an argument with him, crashing my car because I'm sleep deprived and driving in my rear view. End of story. Tragic. Now I don't want to use. That don't sound fun, does it? But if you stop at the part of the tape where you're just getting the high, then yeah, it sounds like a great time. But if you play it all the way to the end, what really happens, then it's not fucking appetizing at all. And so if you can remember to play that fucking tape all the way to the end instead of just at the beginning, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to realize that it's not a beneficial choice for you to go out and pick up substances. Right? Because it's just going to end up ending in disaster. And those are my tips and tricks on how to cope with triggers and cravings / thoughts to use. The crowd goes wild. Bravo. Thank you. Thank you. I'm now learning about healthy choices. I'm 34, just now on a health wealth journey. I know, Alicia, same. I dropped my meth addiction and picked up a coffee addiction. Hey, it happens to the best of us. Will you explain to me why some people replace meth with something else instead of stopping? That is called harm reduction or medication management. So some people will get on a medication that can mimic the same effects. Now, most of the time, most doctors are not utilizing other stimulants to treat meth. What I have been seeing being really popular is doctors utilizing naltrexone and Wellbutrin, injectable naltrexone and oral Wellbutrin. And then I've also seen I have seen some doctors use Vyvanse, but not many. And I have seen some doctors use modafinil, but not many, like a handful. And so I believe that there needs to be some kind of medication for meth addiction, just like there is for opiate addiction and alcohol addiction. Because methamphetamine addiction has such a high relapse rate. And the reason why that is because meth produces so much dopamine in your brain. Okay, out of all the drugs that you could use on the spectrum, methamphetamine is the drug that causes your brain to produce the most amount of dopamine. Therefore, when you try to stop using meth, the crash that you have is debilitating. The depression that you feel is life-ending depression. You feel like you want to end it all. Okay? And so that is why so many people return to using it and can't get sober from it. And so I believe that a medication management program for people in that position would be 100% beneficial. 100%. I can't wait till the day to see it happen. My son has been in jail for 2 weeks. He still sounds crazy. How long does it take to get back to normal? Joanna, sometimes it takes longer for other people than it does for, some. And I will tell you this, when we use stimulants, for some of us, hey Sam, for some of us, we have underlying mental health that we did never address. Maybe we didn't know that we had these mental health situations, these disorders, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, BPD, severe depression, anxiety, and it is exasperated by our meth use. And so once we sober up, now we're wide open with this mental health issue that basically we had been medicating with using substances. And so some people bounce back like that. Other people, not so much. If your son is still having residual effects from mentally and like talking kind of like in code and like thinking people are still after him, having extreme paranoia, it would be very, very beneficial for him to get in to see an addiction specialist, psychiatrist, once he gets out of jail. If they can provide him with some kind of medical treatment while he's locked up, with a doctor that could come in and talk to him, that would be great too. But this happens to so many people. Some people don't come back. Some people stay in this like paranoia land where they're still very paranoid of everybody around them and situations and things. And so methamphetamine is so dangerous and it can cause brain damage, straight up. Every single day that I wake up and I'm able to talk and I'm able to share my views and my feelings with you guys, I think it's a miracle because of the amount of meth that I was injecting into my body for the length of time that I was doing it. My brain, I feel like, should be scrambled eggs, fried, okay? Like totally. And so the fact that I'm not in a sense of paranoia 24/7, 7 days a week is a miracle, because when I was utilizing methamphetamine, I was in a constant state of psychosis. Hey, Sam, I'm going to detox tomorrow for fentanyl and alcohol. That's great. I'm proud of you for choosing life, baby. Does anyone know how I can get my natural energy back? I took phentermine for years and years, and along the way became addicted to Percocets, then Oxys, and I've been on Suboxone for roughly 5 years and still have no energy. Hey, Debbie. So, I can totally relate. That's how my meth addiction started, was with phentermine, honey. I started out taking phentermine when I was about 16 and a half, 17 years old, and by the time they wouldn't give it to me after 2 months. They would only give me 2 months worth of it. After they took it away from me, I hit the streets, and that's when I found meth. And so getting our energy back is such a full circle thing, right? So there's no one answer to getting energy back after long-term stimulant use. This is why I was telling you guys about earlier. This is why it's so important to make sure that you clean up your diet, that you're eating healthy foods, vegetables, water, high protein foods, okay, that you are getting plenty of exercise, okay, and if you're on a MAP medication and you've been on it for 5 years and you're stable. For me, I got to a point with my MAP medication, because I'm also an opioid addict, where I was about 4.5 years in, and I was on 12 milligrams, and I no longer needed to be on 12 milligrams. So I went to my doctor and I started titrating down. In my experience with MAP medication, the lower the dose you're on, the more better you feel. And so I got down to, I think it was around 2 milligrams 4 years ago. I tapered down from 12 to 2. I felt like $1,000,000. My energy started coming back. My sex drive came back. I could take a dump every single day. It was amazing. And so make sure you clean up your diet. Make sure you're getting plenty of exercise. Talk to your doctor if you're stable and you haven't been having any issues. Talk to your doctor about getting on a taper. And I'm telling you, get a little lower on your dose and you will feel so much better. That's just my experience. But I'm telling you, I've been doing and working with people on MAT for the last 6 years, and this is like a consensus. Like, we all have the same experience, you know? And so, I hope that helps you out a little bit. Yes, my husband was just texting me. Y'all just heard the beep. I'm going to look at this medication for my husband because he has low testosterone. And this is just par for the course when you're somebody that used substances for many, many years, especially men, that it can mess with your hormones and stuff. And so, and having low testosterone or messed up hormones as a woman can also cause lethargy, lack of motivation, no energy, and depression. So, ladies, gentlemen, get your hormones checked. Get your thyroids checked. It's like I said, there's no one answer to the energy. It's all encompassing. We have to start treating our bodies and our minds better and taking better care of ourselves. Then we'll see the results that we want, you know? It took me a few months before I watched TV after I got clean from 20 years of meth because the people on TV were mocking me. I think with long-term meth use, it takes some people more than a few weeks to get back to normal. I remember obsessing over numbers 2 weeks into sobriety. Oh yeah, it took me years for my mouth to stop doing this when I talked. I used to talk like this when I first got sober. Because I was like that when I was high. So yeah, and you know, I was a polysubstance user. I was addicted to multiple substances. It took me 8 months to feel human again after getting off benzos. And so I came off of benzos, meth, oxys, and cocaine all at the same time. And so, yes, 100%. Good job, Debbie. Yeah, so Debbie, if you're down to 4 milligrams, that is amazing. So you know what? I bet you would benefit from making sure that diet's cleaned up, making sure you're drinking plenty of water, make sure you're getting your 10K steps in every single day, right? And if you can't do every single day, do 3 days a week. At least you're making effort. And go, if you need to make an appointment with your doctor to get your hormones checked, especially in women, like I said, that's what a lot of us struggle with, is the lack of energy and no motivation and the lethargy. And it can really be a hormonal thing. I had no idea I was diabetic, you guys. So I'm diabetic. Every time I was eating, my insulin was spiking up. Sugar was through the roof, all kinds of craziness, and I felt so horrible. I finally broke down after not going to the doctor for 3 years and made my ass go to the doctor. Found out I was damn diabetic with a fucking A1C of 11. And that, now I'm getting better and it's helping me. And so we don't take care of ourselves. Us addicts in recovery, we will put off going to the doctor until the last minute. So if you're like me and you've done that, make sure you get in to see the doctor, you know? Lindsay says, I'm on 200 milligrams of methadone. I'm afraid to start my taper because I've heard the withdrawals are worse than the drug you were doing. No. When you are on methadone, you have such an amazing opportunity to do what there's called a blind taper. You go to your clinic and you say, hey guys, I want to titrate down a little bit. And what they'll do is they'll take away milligrams without you knowing, and you'll taper down blindly. So it takes the psychological obsessing and worrying out of the deal, right? And so as long as you taper with your clinic, they'll do it nice and slow. You'll be just fine. But talk to them about a blind taper. So, I hope that helped you guys a little bit. I hope you guys enjoyed today's live stream. If you enjoyed this live stream, give it a thumbs up, you guys. Share it to another Facebook group and let people know that we're going to be doing these live streams once a day. If you guys enjoyed it and it was beneficial to you and it helped you, please help me by sharing the video out. And I really, really appreciate you guys. I love helping people. I love making content online about recovery. And so let's, what's tomorrow? Wednesday? Let's meet here tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Okay. So we'll do, an 11 o'clock, live on the daily. So that way we're all here and ready to go. So it's 11:45 right now. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up so it doesn't get too long. And if you guys have any questions or topics that you want me to discuss, tag me in the comment and let me know so I can see it. Okay. Or send me a DM and we'll work on future topics. Okay. All right, you guys. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow over weight loss. Good deal, Debbie. Yes, I promise you. Debbie, I was 250 pounds back in December. Okay? I'm 186 now. Okay? I was a super fat. Now I'm just a fat. But I'm working on it. And that's all we can do is work one day at a time to be better. And so I promise you, once you get your weight under in control, you're going to feel so much better. Because even though I was a super fat and now I'm just a fat, being a fat girl, I feel like a skinny fucking legend. I feel like a fucking toothpick, bitch. I'm like, ow. Okay, I feel so good losing that weight. I can see my punani again. My fupa is not covering my punani anymore. It's a miracle. So that is going to help you so much. Mark my words. Okay, guys, I'm going to get off here because now I'm talking about punanis. So I'll see you guys later. Say bye to the little pumpkin butts, my little munchkins, my little co-hosts. And I'll see y'all tomorrow at 11, okay? Love y'all.